Oh, there we go. Going live in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is another episode of the Working Title Experience. This is episode number 11, and we have Kelly on again this evening. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm glad to be here. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's always nice to see you.
Same. Yes, I'm really excited to be back. Hope your week was good.
Yeah, how's your past week been? For here in DC, we've experienced our first hot, I guess you could call it the first hot day or first warm day of the year. We actually got up to above 70. And I will say this now, in my house, I have 3 air conditioning units. On the first day, it got above 70. My house usually gets to about 80 or 85 inside. It always burns up inside. I could not use any of my all 3 of my air conditioning units were not working, or one was just, I didn't have a plug for it. So I ended up burning up the first day. The second day, I was able to get an extension cord for the one. One of them had completely broken. The other one was only blowing warm air. So the second day got close to 80, and I would say I felt a little bit better. At least I had something blowing cool air. But by that day, I realized I had to order a new air conditioning unit. So I have a new one sitting on my kitchen floor right now. I just haven't put it into the window. They're all window units. But yeah, I was not prepared for the first warm day. It's been cold for the past few days, so I haven't had to worry about it. But yeah, the DC doesn't usually get that warm this early, so I was kind of surprised to get that heat. What's it like where you've been?
Yeah, in Massachusetts, I think we got the same heat wave that you got. It was beautiful 2 days right before a massive snowstorm yesterday where it was snowing and it was sunny. It reminded me of the mountains because the weather just switched on a dime and it was snowing on and off, but it didn't stick on the ground. But we definitely had those hot days and so windy. Are you experiencing high winds from the temperature change?
We had some, but they died off pretty quickly. It was only like for a day, and they weren't really that strong, fortunately. So, but as far as the snow, did you have any buildup of snow? Like, did you have to shovel?
No, unfortunately not. You can keep the skis stored away. There's nothing around here, but maybe up on the higher elevation, you're getting some good snow, and up north, but not in Massachusetts. It didn't stay for long. It was just nice to look at.
I will say this: a week before we got the warm weather, we had a bad ice storm here, and the ice was so dense that I walked outside. It wasn't that thick; it was just dense. When I stepped on it, it wouldn't even leave a footprint. That's how dense it was.
Dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. And fortunately, I didn't have to drive anywhere. But it was so dense. It took about 3 days for it to melt. And usually it's like, if it's that thin, if it's snow, it'll be gone within within the day, but it was just so dense. It took forever to melt away. So I was glad to see that go though.
Yeah. I can't wait for spring and summer. Fun activities around the corner. Is there anything you're looking forward to this spring hot weather?
Actually, I'm doing it's something I've been putting off for a while. I've been basically getting rid of a lot of stuff in my house that's been accumulating, whenever I order stuff from I usually order a lot of things. So I have a lot of boxes laying around, and I haven't, basically what I have to do is just collapse them all because they want them recycled. The local landfill doesn't want them to be thrown out or, put into the dumpster. So I have to collapse all of them. I literally have probably dozens of big boxes just sitting in my living room empty. So I'm trying to get rid of all those. Anything else that's just I don't need anymore. So I'm going through like an early spring cleaning. That's probably I've estimated it's going to take me into the early summer before I'm done because I have so much stuff I just want to get rid of. So that's my plan for the next few months.
Smart. Spring cleaning. Very Marie Kondo of you, minimalist. They say if it doesn't bring you joy, you got to pack it up and get it out. So there's a lot of yard sales lately with the good weather.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't been to a yard sale in a long time. Yeah, is that something you like to go to?
Yeah, I used to watch a show called Flea Market Flip with my mom. So they'd give them money to buy items, and then they'd flip them and then sell them for more. And whichever team could sell, flip for the best profit would win the prize. And so we would kind of do like small projects like that, try and make something look brand new. I think it's really great to start recycling things and there's a lot of really cool estate sales around here on the East Coast. So.
Oh, okay. The my dad and you would probably get along with that because he loves estate sales. He goes to them all the time. One of his favorite things.
Oh, really? That's so fun. Do you ever join him, or that's not your thing?
I went once or twice. I was kind of creeped out by the idea, though, that I'm going into someone's house who
Oh, yeah.
is someone who's just died or is about to die, because some of the people haven't actually died yet. And I'm like, we're going through this person's personal belongings. I just felt kind of creeped out by doing that. And my dad, though, he's like, nah, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I was like, yeah, I can't stop thinking about that, though. So
it must be hard for them to watch valuable things leave their life, but also therapeutic too. I'm sure, to see where it goes to, like who gets them. That's pretty awesome.
So tonight, I wanted to talk about, or I know you and I both wanted to talk about, your experience with filming, and where did that go with you? How did that start with you?
Yes, I love film. It's really a big passion in my household, in my family. My mom got me and my sister into acting when we were really young. So I grew up going to theater camp, and she does extra work in films. So I grew up around a lot of amazing cinema. She would get films in the mail before any of the award shows. So we'd watch all the awarded movies before they're voted to win. And so it started at a very young age, falling in love with film. And in high school, in my early education, I took a film class, and it was really cool. I love music a lot as well. So I took the class period to make my own GarageBand mix. Have you done anything on GarageBand before?
No, but when I was teaching, a lot of my students, I used to teach audio engineering, and a lot of my students used GarageBand a lot for their projects. So I'm familiar with it, but I haven't actually used it myself.
Oh, you'll get hooked. It's really fun. It's pretty easy to move things around and try out the samples. So I felt like a DJ. Like, it was my turn to make a mix. And then I actually filmed at my aunt's house in Vermont. So I was really into horror films. Like, did you see The Ring when that first came out, or The Grudge? Those movies were really popular.
The Ring is the one with the little girl that has the hair that's covering her face, right?
Yes. So scary.
For a long time, it's what's weird is I had no idea what that was a reference to. I'd seen people make like videos with little girls with long hair.
Oh, yeah. You put it in your face.
Yeah. And I had no idea that it was actually a movie. I had no idea what they were making reference to. And then finally I saw somebody talk about The Ring one time. I was like, oh, is that what that's about? It's like, I finally realized that. No, I have not. To answer your initial question, no. It's clicked. I never actually saw the movie, so I don't know. But I know it's a horror movie, but that's about all I know.
Yeah, as soon as you see the movie, you have 7 days to live, or she'll come through the TV and get you. It's traumatizing. But I just loved the nuances of horror films. So for my project, I decided my aunt's house, there's a barn across from her house, and it always kind of gave me the creeps. It has like mirrors in there and old furniture. And so we were going up for the weekend, and I had to pass in this project pretty quickly. So we had one day of filming, and my sister was the actor in it, and we filmed it. So it's like she was trapped in the barn, and then I think I played the other part that approached her, and then we switched bodies. So she got to leave. So it was kind of this cycle, and it was really cool. I didn't realize my teacher had entered me into the film contest either, but under music video, because I made my own music. So I didn't win because it was like totally out of place for what a music video usually looks like. So if you're going to enter a contest, enter the right category, which would be under scary film. But a lot of people really loved it. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm good at this. I just pulled that together pretty quickly. And it was really the storyline. And it was a silent film. There was no speaking. It was all music. So it was really cool as a filmmaker to make it impactful and tell a story without scripts. And I think some of the best movies don't have as much dialogue, but you're figuring it out on your own, because then it's very intriguing and it pulls people in.
So as far as the things that you produced, are they available online somewhere?
I don't believe so. I think those are in the special vault for me to release. The world's not ready yet for my high school and college projects. I don't think so, but maybe someday.
You wouldn't want to release them here someday, would you? Like doing a show?
Oh, possibly, if I can find the copies of it. I don't know if I burned it onto something, but I'll take a look around. It would be really cool to see it again.
I would like to see anything that you produce. It's anything you produce. I mean, based on your photography alone, it makes me want to watch anything else you've done as well. So, I'm assuming that the imagery is probably why is it in the same caliber as the photographs you've taken?
Yes, I love cinematography, and I love when a picture like paints 1,000 words. So in a film, you can tell even more. I just realized now that all of my short films that I've made don't have any dialogue in them, like the ones I've done on my own. So I guess that's kind of my style, is silent film or, music film. That's my favorite.
Now there's a horror film. I just want to bring this up real quick. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I'm not really a big horror fan myself, but there's one horror film that I actually really like. It's the 1973 movie, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that one's scary. I've seen a lot of scary movies, but that one definitely it holds up. It's timeless.
Yeah, I saw it like back in a long time ago, and then I saw it again recently within the past couple of years. I said, I probably won't like this, but I watched it again. Like, oh yeah, this is really good. It's like it really is. It really holds up, like you said. And I was surprised how good it actually is. Even though I had seen it before, I just forgot about it. But there's a couple of movies that came out after it. They were like I saw the immediate sequel called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I know there were some others. The second one was awful. I didn't really care for it. It was clear that they were just trying to capitalize off of the original production. But anything else after, I did not see any of the more recent remakes, so I don't know if they were any good or not.
Did you see Saw? I feel like that's kind of similar.
Oh no, I've not seen that. That came out the early 2000s or mid 2000s?
Yeah. It's a long series. I feel like there's 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, that many now? Wow.
Yeah. It's really fun around Halloween time.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check. Which one would you recommend as far as, I guess, seeing the first one and then going from there?
I think what pops to my mind is the 4th one specifically. I think I remember after seeing it being like, oh, that's the best one. But they all have a similar storyline. It's just the show really picked up popularity then. So the stunts are just unbelievable.
Gotcha. So it's not like something you have to watch like some TV shows and movies nowadays where you have to see like 4 or 5 different episodes beforehand. You can actually just go in and not worry about what you missed, or if nothing really matters, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Just jump in.
No,
don't watch it by yourself. You'll be so scared.
What's that? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Don't watch it by yourself. You'll be way too scared.
Oh.
Just me personally.
There are some creepy videos on YouTube I've seen sometimes where people have put in the comment section that they're afraid to actually turn off the lights after they watch them. And usually they're like creepy faces. I was watching YouTube one night. I don't even know how I got there. I just kept on clicking on different videos, and like creepy clown faces kept on popping up, and they were kind of eerie looking. But the comments were just so funny. I can't sleep now. I can't turn off the lights.
We all need to get together. We're all in fear. Yeah, I've seen the ones where it like cuts to something scary at the end and it makes you jump. Oh
yeah.
Hard to calm down after that.
There's another movie. I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's The Wiz. It's the 1970s version of The Wizard of Oz.
No.
It's done the cast is entirely black. So instead of being a white cast, it's a black cast. So I can't remember. Michael Jackson plays the Scarecrow.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember who else is right off the top of my head. I can't remember who plays
it.
Dorothy, but she's a famous singer. I just can't remember her name. But there's a scene where instead of going into the woods like in the original Wizard of Oz, they go into a subway, and there's a scene where these little red puppets just come out of this guy walks in. He's like selling toys, and these puppets just start to get bigger and bigger, and they chase after the main heroes of the story. And everybody, if you go on YouTube, you can see these videos. People in the comments section saying those red puppets scared me so much when I was a kid. I mean, everybody's terrified of these red puppets for some reason. It's so weird. They're not really that creepy. I think it's something to do with the face. They have these bright, big, wide eyes. And what happens is they start off small and they grow big. They start off like about a foot tall, and by the time they're finished growing, they're like about 8 feet tall, and they're chasing after everybody. But if you ever get a chance to see that, check just that scene out. It's pretty. For some reason, it scares a lot of people. I'm not saying it would scare you. It seems to be that more people got scared when they were kids than anything else. But it's kind of funny that it's not even supposed to be scary as far as I can tell. I think it just came across that way.
Oh yeah. I feel like I grew out of scary movies a little bit too. Like, I'm like, okay, I've done that. I scared myself as far as I can go. I don't need to revisit or see what else scares me. But it's a lot of fun, the editing process when you're making a scary movie, because it really is all about timing as well.
Oh, really? So describe that. So I mean, are you talking about like not just jump scares or anything like that? Do you use jump scares when you're doing your editing, or what did you use?
I think it's more that right before something happens, it's like very long and drawn out, and it's kind of like you don't know what to expect. So that beat in the middle and being able to edit properly, so their eyes like get really wide, and when you're watching it, you like don't even want to blink because you're so scared you'll miss it.
And how about
really fun?
How about one of the techniques that I know that Steven Spielberg has used this in the movie Jaws. I'm sure other people have used it as well. Oh, in Alien, they did it as well. The 1979 Alien. Have you seen Alien?
Yes, that was really that's a really good movie. Glad you brought that one up.
Yeah, in that movie and in Jaws, the main what would you call it? The alien and obviously an alien, and then the shark in Jaws, you don't get to see very often in the movie. In fact, they're hardly shown, and because of that, it's that's actually ramps up the people get more scared of what they're about to see because they can't see it. They don't know what to expect.
Oh yeah. I think that's such an important tool if you're thinking about going into filmmaking, especially in that genre. It's okay to get that extra film B-rolled so that you can have a couple more beats than you normally would in a scene to kind of take the viewer on a journey before something really big happens.
And have you seen Jaws as well by chance? 1975?
Oh yeah. I'm right off the Cape.
Oh, okay.
That's in my backyard.
We
get huge sharks in the summer. That's not what I'm looking forward to. Seeing it on the news, this giant looking, and it looks like a submarine. These sharks are huge that come and migrate.
Really? This is real. I thought you were joking for a second there. They really do come there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure Jaws is filmed in New England.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So it's based off of that. Seeing great whites. I have not seen a shark that size in person, though. I've only seen small ones in tropical areas.
But they usually don't. Those shark attacks aren't that common, though, are they? From what I understand. I mean, where you are, at least, right?
Yeah, I don't believe so. And it's interesting, the Cape, the beaches, they kind of, like if you go to a tropical beach, you're in shallow water for a very long time, but on the Cape, it's literally like a shelf, like it's a drop off. And if you go off that drop off and you're swimming out there, it's kind of a little more risky because those big animals can come in closer.
Really? How much of a drop? How deep is the drop off? How far does it go?
I haven't checked personally, but some beaches, it's if you're wearing like snorkels, you just kind of don't know where it goes. goes all the way down. And just avoid the beaches with seals because that's their snack.
Oh, you have seals there too? Really?
Yeah. I was in Chatham last summer, and you can look at the seals migrating and hanging out on the beaches in Chatham.
How big are the seals? Are they I've seen some of them. Maybe I'm thinking of walruses that get like huge, like when
Yeah, they get big. Similar to walruses. One of my favorite experiences with seals was actually in California on the West Coast, in La Jolla. Have you been to La Jolla?
I've been to California once. I drove to Los Angeles, and I was only there for a day. So
Oh,
no, I don't know where's La Jolla. You have to pardon my
it's
ignorance.
in San Diego.
Oh no, they didn't go that far. No, did not.
Yeah, definitely put that on the list because La Jolla Cove, you can actually walk down to the beaches, and beautiful walking path, really easy to get down there, and you can share the beach with the seals. So they were just napping right there, and then this mother washed up shore, and she actually gave birth to a baby seal right in front of me, and I had my telephoto lens, so I got to zoom in, get a really cool picture of this little guy opening his eyes for the first time. It's really beautiful.
The mother didn't try to well, I'm sure she was probably exhausted too, but she didn't try to get a defensive or anything.
No, definitely not. She was exhausted, and everyone respected their space. And it's great when you have a lot of people in the area. So we all are accountable. And if someone got too close, we were all like, hey, give the mom some space. She's been through a lot. You don't need to get up that close. But with my lens, I could zoom in and see how beautiful and amazing it was. And then once the mom woke up a little bit, she just started picking him up by his neck and, throwing him around like, time to move, time to get on with life, start walking.
Is that cool? Is that like when a mother cat picks up their kitten by the neck? Yeah. Is it really? Wow.
Very similar. Dogs too, when they're younger, they have that extra skin on the back so the mom can hoist them like a purse wherever they go. They have a handle, and then they grow out of it, I think, as they get older, but useful.
As far as your filming, is that something you're going to continue? What are you doing with that right now? Are you going to try to?
The last thing I did, I filmed my hike. So my camera has this setting where I can switch to record. So I got a permit to hike in the Grand Canyon to see Havasupai Falls, which is such a beautiful double waterfall in the Grand Canyon, and you can hike in. It's about 10 miles, and you can camp overnight with a permit. So I made a video of the process, the trails, and I didn't use any dialogue. It's just to music, and that was more of a personal thing for me to remember that experience. But I'd like to do more travel videos, and maybe videos explaining really cool campsites and how to, make a campsite feel homey and make fires and, inspire people to get out there or be in the outdoors.
Now, would that be something you'd also like to maybe share here sometime as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If anyone's interested, drop a comment.
So now I'd like to, we were talking about horror films, and of course we have Stephen King, who is obviously a well-known horror, I don't know if you call him horror. What would you call Stephen King's genre?
Exactly? The King of Horror.
King of Horror, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's the one that he wrote the novel, The Shawshank Redemption, and I can't remember what the actual title of the book was called now. It was called The Shawshank Redemption. And the reason I'm trying to remember is because the movie, The Shawshank Redemption, there's a poster that's in the movie that's covering up the large hole that Tim Robbins' character is hiding so he can escape he digs the hole for almost 2 decades. Rita Hayworth, is that who it was? I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But the name of the book is The Shawshank Redemption, and the woman who was on the poster. So, but then when they came out the movie, they just called it The Shawshank Redemption. Now, have you seen The Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, that's one of my favorite films. Absolutely, it's beautiful. Beautiful cinematography, all in that one location, which is amazing that they can tell such a beautiful story with so many amazing lessons packed in there.
And and also, I mean, I'd like to say that some of the things in the movie, I definitely agree, it's a beautiful movie. It's one of those movies where I don't think you should actually think too much. Sometimes I try to look at something, I try to analyze it. Does it make any sense? Like the idea that a person inside a jail cell could dig a hole for like 19 years or whatever, how many years, and nobody thought once about removing that poster just to make sure he didn't have anything hidden behind that.
I know, right? And you're wondering, like, oh, how has he not been able to walk away from this? He's not guilty. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Your heart, it just hurts the whole time because he's stuck.
I would imagine in a real situation, obviously the warden in the movie was corrupt. When he went to the warden and said, "Hey, I'd like to have another trial," I'm sure any warden would probably in real life would probably say, "Yeah, let's see if we can do that for you." I mean, I would think. I mean, I can't think that all wardens would be that bad. The one thing I've heard about the movie, that when the movie came out, people critiqued the movie for the wrong reasons, and that's why apparently they didn't receive a good. Some like Siskel and Ebert. They liked the movie when it came out. And I always like Siskel and Ebert. They're good reviewers. Some of the other reviewers stated that they didn't like the movie because it portrayed the criminals as the good guys and the people at the jail who ran the jail, the guards, the warden, as the bad guys. And the idea is, well, we should feel sympathy for criminals. And I was like, well, you're kind of missing the whole plot of the movie at that point. It's really where, if it's another thing where you shouldn't think too much about certain things. Just understand that there's a story there that needs to be told. And I think it was Gene Siskel who stated that it doesn't matter what the story was about, that it could have been told anywhere. It just happened to be that this took place in a prison, and it's just a beautiful story from beginning to end. So you don't need to, at least in my opinion, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way as well. But if you start analyzing it too much, you will find too many things that just don't make any sense. But just focus on the story itself. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I do think that the filmmakers are trying to take you on a journey, and when you overthink it, you're bringing your own opinions into the space where you should just like let it wash over you. And then afterwards, once you've watched the whole film, that's when a lot of people come up. I think as a film reviewer, it must be really hard to watch the film without reviewing it right away.
Yeah.
Like the process of reviewing a film must be very difficult.
I was first introduced to by my mother. She said, "You got to watch this," and I was hesitant. And then she said, "No, you got to watch it. You got to watch it." And I said, "Okay." So I watched it, and yeah, she was right. She said, "Did you watch it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Do you like it?" And I said, "Yeah, it was a great movie." So I thanked her for recommending that. I will say that, what is it? Not W. TNT, the cable station. When I used to have cable, they would run it for some reason. They would run that movie every Sunday for like it never ended. It was just every Sunday you could turn on at 8:00 and it was on. It was pretty funny. Like it was just on every Sunday night.
They want to reach as many people as possible. They're like, everyone must see this.
And I was working at a radio station at the time. My shift was I had a weird shift. I worked like Friday through Tuesday, and I got Wednesday and Thursday off. So every Sunday night my shift was from noon to 8. So every Sunday night I'd turn on. I was like, oh, Shawshank Redemption. So I just leave it on in the background. I'd seen enough. So I had this thing where I have these movies and TV shows where I've seen them enough times. I can just leave them on in the background and actually hear and periodically look up at them while I'm doing something else. And so every Sunday night I would just leave it on when I was working. So I got to know the movie pretty well just because of that.
Oh, nice. Is there a favorite part that you'd be like, yes, if you catch it at the right time? Is there a favorite scene?
I guess the redemption, what would be referred to as the redemption, like the rebirth, the whole scene is very, the scene is done very obviously as a rebirth of sorts. When Tim Robbins' character comes out of the pipe at the end, and he's like reborn. It's like his, that's symbolizing his birth, so to speak. And that's probably the best scene. The funny part is when I saw that for the first time, I thought that was the end of the movie. And I was like, I just kept on going and going. So, oh, there's more. So, and if it had ended right there, I would have been happy, but the rest of the movie was pretty good as well. But it was kind of, but leaving it right there probably would have just been fine as well. Either way, the rest of it just gives you another idea as to what happened to the two main characters. And obviously they get back together as friends at the very end. But as far as, I can't think of anything else that I would put at that level. I do think some of the violence got a little bit overboard sometimes. I don't know if
absolutely
the prison guards would beat up people and threaten to throw them off the roofs of buildings. I don't know how real that is. That seems a little far-fetched. And like at the very beginning, the security guard beats somebody so badly that he dies, ends up bleeding to death during when Tim Robbins first gets there. Another one of the they called him the chubby guy. He ends up dying at the very beginning. I would think that there'd be, how would they cover that up? It seems like they get away with so many obvious murders in that place. It just didn't make any sense. That's one of those things that got too unbelievable, of course.
Yeah, there is something about credibility, and does it really add to the story? I'm trying to remember if this, do you remember a scene where he plays the music over the speakers?
Oh, yes.
I feel like that scene is kind of done in a lot of movies, and that might be like the first time it was done. But I felt like that was the first one that came to mind when you had mentioned this movie. That beautiful music bringing everyone together in the yard and looking up at the speakers and just letting that music bring them all together. Like, don't forget those enjoyments in life, even though you're locked away.
Yeah.
It made it a little more sad, that they can't just like listen to music, things that we take for granted, but it makes you more human, that humility.
I will say that both Tim Robbins' character and Morgan Freeman's character reacted very well to that scene. In fact, Morgan Freeman does, he narrates the entire movie, and his reaction during his narration was very spot on. Afterwards, though, there were people like that. The rest of the people didn't seem to really catch on to what was going on. They seemed to be lost in that. I remember one of the characters saying something like, "Could you play Hank Williams instead?"
Right? Yeah, you could see their character coming out, like they can finally crack a joke. It's important to have those breaks in the movie where you can let the walls down.
And I definitely would put that movie probably near the top of my list. If I had to put a list of favorite movies, I wouldn't put it near the very top. I'm sure there's other movies I like that are better. I mean, not necessarily better, but better in my opinion. I would definitely say that this is definitely one of the best movies ever made, though, for sure. And I'm always surprised that if you look at the old reviews from like the early 90s, how it wasn't that popular. It was really bizarre. It wasn't until afterwards that it became popular.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Maybe it was released along with some other really amazing movies that got lost in the shuffle. And it is kind of a quieter film. And if you think about like Forrest Gump or any of those other films where it's pretty happy and a lot of different scenes going on and telling a lot of different stories, it's easy to see something that's just so poetic and soft-spoken as Shawshank Redemption.
You bring up Forrest Gump. I hate to say this. You may hate me for this, but I'm not a big fan of Tom Hanks. Sorry.
Oh, no. I just watched Sleepless in Seattle, and I was like, he's awesome.
Oh, I have not seen that one. That's
it's a good one.
That's a romantic one, right?
Yeah. It's really nice. It's like, if you're meant to be with someone, it will be, and it's really cute. Definitely check that one out. Good romantic comedy.
Okay, I've heard that like men say that they like to show that to their girlfriends a lot. I don't know if that's the case or if that's real or not, but it's one to if you're close, you want to spark the evening or something, that's to show that movie. That's that your girlfriend will thank you for it. I don't know if that's true or not.
So romantic. And the views of Seattle, beautiful. And then they end up in New York City, so it's really fun, different locations.
Okay. To be honest, I didn't even know Tom Hanks was in that movie until you brought that up. So that's how much I knew about the movie. So
Gotta check it out now since you're a big Tom Hanks fan. Maybe skip over that one instead. But yeah, Forrest Gump, that's one of my favorite movies for sure.
It's not a bad movie. I just don't particularly like Tom Hanks. I don't know.
It's a tough character that he played.
Oh yeah, I agree. I just don't think he's that great of an actor as people say he is, in my opinion. I don't hate the guy. I just think that he's put up on a higher pedestal than he actually deserves. That's all.
Yeah, there's a lot of great actors out there.
And people say, "Oh, Tom Hanks is so great," but it's like, I don't know.
I early on, like Woody from Toy Story.
I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. I know what you're talking about. I don't even know if I've seen that all the way through, so I can't say.
That's a good one.
When I think of Tom Hanks, maybe it's because I think of his early career. Like the first time I ever saw him was in that TV show called Bosom Buddies. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I
gotta write him off for that one.
he pretends he lives in an apartment with another guy. The guy who's his friend is actually, I can't remember his name, but was also in the TV show Newhart. I can't remember his name now. But anyway, they couldn't find an apartment so they had to go live in an apartment that was only for women. So they dress up like women throughout the show. And so Tom Hanks is wearing
scenario.
And so he's not, I don't think he's that good in that. I mean, I don't know. He was still starting off at that point, so you can give him some slack there. But late after that, that's when his movie career started. Like he did Splash, and that's what launched his career. And then that wasn't a bad movie, but it seemed like he kept on doing the same whiny characters early on. Like he did The Money Pit. He did another kind of a whiny character. He did another one called The Burbs, which is another whiny character. And maybe it's stuck in my head that he plays these whiny characters, even though I know he's moved beyond that character anymore. But I saw a lot of his early stuff, and I kept on thinking of this whiny character, and I'm thinking him, and maybe I need to give him I don't know. Maybe I should give him a second chance. It just doesn't. I don't still think he's that good of an actor, but probably because of that.
Who is your favorite actor?
I never had that. I've never had that question asked. I don't know.
Tough one, right?
Yeah.
My wheels are turning.
Who's yours? Kind of
along with like favorite movies.
Who's your favorite actor?
Ooh. I went through a Ryan Gosling phase pretty hard. So, do you know Ryan Gosling from The Notebook?
Oh no, I don't even know what The Notebook is. I'm sorry.
No, oh my gosh, that very popular.
Is that when did that come out? What year did that come out?
I'm not sure. That'd be a good one.
About 10 years ago, maybe? Was it with the
past Yeah, probably it's been 10 years with Rachel McAdams.
Okay. The only reason I say within 10 years is because that's a period of my life when I was so focused. I didn't watch any movies at all for a while, and I didn't even know what the new movies were out. So it's another one I just don't know about. I have to check it out to see what it's like. So
that's a great one to watch with girlfriend. Date night. Girls love it. It's very romantic. It's a sweet story. But I love his interviews too. He just seems like a really cool kind of guy. Laid back, little goofy.
I can name a romantic movie that I like. I don't know if you've ever seen it, called The Cutting Edge. About the skaters. Two skaters.
I grew up skating, so I probably would love that. Cutting Edge?
Yeah, The Cutting Edge. The young woman, she's what do you call it when it's like what do you call it when they skate for performance? I don't know what you call that.
Figure skating?
Figure skating, yes.
Yes.
She's a figure skater, and she can't be matched up. All her partners, she hates all of them. She's stuck up and she's snotty. So they bring in like this makes any sense. They bring in a hockey player to partner her up so he can be her partner, because he can't play hockey anymore because he has something wrong with one of his eyes. And obviously the two of them hate each other, and then it grows and the story evolves and it becomes a love story. That I would have to say that's probably one of my favorite. If I had to pick a romance movie, I'd like that one. So
I can't wait to see it. I grew up figure skating, so it's like such a cool scenario.
Okay, so you probably like it. You definitely like it.
Yeah, for sure. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
No, I've not seen that one. No.
Put that on the list. That's great with Adam Sandler.
Which is that? Is that the one where he's playing golf, or is that another one?
Yeah, it's that one. He's a hockey player, but then he switches to golf. But he like plays golf with the hockey stick. It's hilarious.
That's Bob Barker's in that too, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I've not seen. I do remember seeing previews for that, but I've not actually seen that one. So
it's a good comedy. He's definitely one of my favorite comedians.
If you want to see another movie that was made by Adam Sandler, but he wasn't in the movie, it's a movie called Joe Dirt. I didn't think it was going to be a funny movie, but it turned out to be, I thought, a really funny movie. And that also has a small romance in it as well. So, but it's actually it was actually done very well. Who's that? I forget the name of Dana something plays the main. I can't remember his name now. But he plays this white trashy character, and they keep on calling him white trash throughout the entire movie. And he said in interviews afterwards that he grew up, he was actually a white trash when he started off, so he kind of fit the role anyway in real life.
That's always good. Method acting, right? Yeah, I love comedians. Comedians, I could think of a bunch. Like Will Ferrell is really amazing, and his SNL days were awesome. And Jim Carrey is really cool too. I like all his films.
I think Jim Carrey's nice. I don't like him as a person though. I think his
he's got a lot going on up there.
Yeah, I've seen some things where he's just been really vicious and nasty. But I do admit, yeah, I do like his stuff. I the movies he's been in, yeah, he's very good. But as a person, I have a hard time separating him from the scenes he plays. I have to remind myself, ignore that, because I've heard some really nasty things, like when he made a Man in the Moon. What's it called? The Andy Kaufman movie where he played Andy Kaufman.
That one.
You know who Andy Kaufman was, right? Do you know who he was?
No.
Oh, he was a comedian from the 1980s that died of cancer. And so what they do is they made a biography movie about his life in the 1990s. It's called A Man in the Moon. And Jim Carrey plays Andy Kaufman in the movie. He does a really good job, but I've heard that behind the scenes, he kept the character going to the point where he irritated a lot of people on the set.
Yes. I watched the Jim Carrey documentary, and he talks about that.
Oh, really?
Okay. And like apologizes, I think, in the documentary, because he was like, I don't think people realize, like, I didn't really go to school for acting, so I was just really stressed out and threw myself into the character, and like that's all I knew how to do it. So
and Jerry Lawler, who's a wrestler, if you ever get a chance to see that movie, I would recommend it. But if you don't know who Andy Kaufman is, I don't think it really matters. It's not exactly 100% accurate. I've heard a lot of people say it's not, but a lot of the people that were interacted with Andy Kaufman in real life actually reprised their roles, such as David Letterman's in the show in there reprising his role. Jerry Lawler is in there, who's a wrestler. Do you remember the TV show Taxi by chance? You ever heard of that?
Sounds familiar, but I haven't seen it in a long time. If I had.
Who's the in Back to the Future? Have you ever seen Back to the Future by chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Not all the way through, which I know is a shame.
The guy plays Doc Brown. What's his name? I'm just looking for the actor's name. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he got that actor got his launch from the TV show Taxi. So he's in there reprising the role he played or himself essentially in Taxi. So it's one of these things. If you've seen the old shows like David Letterman and the TV show Taxi, you get to see all these actors playing themselves, even though they're probably like 15, almost 20 years older than they actually are. You just have to use your imagination to think that they're actually younger than they actually are. But it's one of those things that's really cool that they got all these people back in there to play their parts again. Not everybody wanted to reprise their role though, but it's pretty cool to see that.
Very cool.
And Jerry Lawler and the real Andy Kaufman, what they did was, if you ever get a chance, what they did was they played a prank. So Andy Kaufman was a prankster. Basically, he would do these jokes that only he would get, only his friends would get. And so basically he was basically playing a joke against the whole world and just laughing at everybody. And that's what the whole movie's about. He's constantly just tricking people into thinking he's doing something that he's not. And so when Jerry Lawler and him got together, Jerry Lawler, they had this fake fight. It turns but the whole time it was going on during the 80s, he made it seem like it was real, like they hated each other, but they really didn't. They liked each other a lot. And so the whole movie shows that behind the scenes, how they liked each other and they got along as friends. And but in real life, it was pretty funny to watch, because he would they just would go around saying on TV how much they hated each other, and they actually got into a big fight, and that Jerry Lawler slapped him, and it was all staged. It was completely staged. But it looked real. It looked,
I love when celebrities do that on talk shows. It's so much fun when it's like a bit.
Yeah, and he got a lot of people behind who actually worked in the industry, acting and everything, angry at him as well. So you get to see all that. If you want to see a movie with Jim Carrey and you like Jim Carrey, I would recommend that. So
very cool. Yeah, top of the list. We got some good movies out.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap everything up for this evening. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that was great. I got a good list of new movies to watch, so I'll be busy.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestions.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. I didn't see any questions that were really. A couple of people said hi, and I didn't say hi back, but hi to everybody that said hi in the comment section. But no actual questions or anything like that I could see. Let me look real quick just to make sure. I didn't see anything that was really relevant to what we were talking about. So, but anyway, okay, that'll be it. And I guess we'll be back next Monday. And thanks again.
Thanks. Bye.
And hang on to, don't disconnect yet, Kelly. I'm going to talk to you.